Hello, welcome back. Andy here, and good morning. We're going to improve the breed. This is a standard window door sensor which gives me two codes. So it gives me a code when I open and a code when I shut. So it's got a little blue LED here, and if I just cover this, you'll see it. And if I open it,
Sensor 2 open.
and if I close it, you can't see the blue light.
Sensor 2 closed.
Okay, and if we show you what's going on, so the important bit we're looking at is this code here. So ignore she who shall not be named speaking. That's going to be a different video. So what I'm using, I've got a Sonoff RF bridge flash with TAS motor. So that's picking up the RF code in this switch. So my code when it's closed is 0EE70E, and when I open, should get another code. So I get 0EE70A. She who should not be named should speak in a minute. It's just a bit of delay. Now that's interesting. Sometimes there is pretty much of that. Okay, ignore that. That's not what the video is about. The video is about you can add a third switch into this, and it's an anti-tamper switch. So if we look in the back of this device, and I've already unscrewed it, so let me just put you back on the main screen. So I've already unscrewed it. So what we've got, this is a standard. I'll try and find a link. I've got the SKU code here, but when I was searching, I couldn't actually find that number. But I found a sensor. I'm going to buy some more of these because I've got other projects for these. So when I open the box, you can see here that there is a space for a little button switch. So this is what we're going to do today, and I've already tested it, and what it does, it gives you another code. So it would end up having three codes: open, closed, and tamper activated. So the way these work is just clear the decks. Oh, let's see if I can do something about the contrast. Let's see if we can turn this light off. Okay, that's a bit better. So a standard switch, or these switches, where's it gone? They're so small you lose it. So these are normally open switches. Now you can't see me. These are normally open switches. So what happens is that when we solder it into device, the back plate will keep the switch depressed, and when
Sensor 2 open.
that was a very big delay. I'm going to have to check into that. I've been messing around with a delay setting, so when my wife comes in during her normal arrival time, it will say a different message, and I obviously haven't got the delay times working correctly, so ignore that. So when we release the switch, it will open the circuit. The sensor detects it's gone open circuit, and it will send through the RF bridge another code. So that's what we're after. So these switches are quite tiny. So I need a new battery in this, but these are 6.2 mil square. So that's what you're looking for, 6.2 mil square. And they got 4 pins. So these are the 4 pins. So what's happening is you've got 2 rails and 1 switch. So all we've got to work out is how we're going to solder that into our device. So when I look at the back of my device, which is here, I've got these bars printed on the back. So this is molded in the plastic. So this is, to me, indicating that B and C are tied together and A and D are tied together. So that's the way we want to install it into our switch. So when I look at this, now let me make sure I've got this round the right way. So what we've got to do is make sure that when we put it in the switch that it is the correct way round. So we've got to try and work out which way round we're going to put the switch. So the easiest way is that this here is, I think, trying to tell me which way the switch has to go. So I believe that this is the rail and this is the switch in the middle. So let me get a little jumper, and I'm looking at my other monitor and I'm going to short out which ones am I going to? I'm going to short out the top two. So the lights come on. You might not have seen that. And now I'm going to disconnect. I'm looking at the screen and I have got another code. So I'm going to check that again. So I'm shorting the top two, releasing, and I get the code. So that's telling me which way the switch has got to go. So I've just reorientated the sheet to match up with what we're trying to do. So by using the jumpers, we know that we've got to switch the left hand two to the right hand two. So I'm not sure what this pi symbol, let's call it a pi symbol, is telling me. So this is the way the switch is shown on the back. So I've multimetered out the switch. So when I join B and C together, I get resistance, continuity, and when I do A and D, I get resistance. So it's telling me the switch has to go in with, in my case, these bars on the back of the switch vertically. So I'm just going to see if I can push these in. Let's actually take this out at the moment. The battery might flip out. So let's push this switch in by hand. And it's not easy because these legs, is that to push the legs in, and I should have put my glasses on. Let's take the battery out. Give me a bit more fighting room. Okay, that's it pressed in. Let me push the battery in. Okay, you might be able to see. I'm going to press the button now. As long as it's making connection, it should work. So I'm going to press the button. And nothing's going to happen because now this is simulating the back covers on. The light just came on and I've got my code. So that proves to me that it's the right way round. Now, that's the first issue out of the way, which was easy to do. So the next issue is that on the back of the case, the little button's got to poke through this hole. So what you don't want to do is solder it on the board and find out it's not high enough, because the depression distance of that switch is minor. It's 1.5 mil. So I wanted to find something that, let's take the battery out again, that I could, if you can just see, slide under the switch. So something that you can slide under here between the circuit board and the bottom of the switch to get the switch to the right height. And what I found was, in proper Blue Peter style, and those in the UK will know what I mean by Blue Peter, I found that the DuPont cables that I have, which are 1.36 millimeter in diameter, are the perfect diameter that if I slide them under the switch And I've done 3 to make sure the switch remains level. So there's 3, and I'm going to press the switch down. So that's now firmly on the DuPont cables. And then when I put it back loosely in the box, because obviously you want to try whatever you end up using, you want to try that it works for you. So that's the circuit board seated in. Now gently put the case top back on and have a look whether the switch is proud, and it is. So if I use the case this way round, and I should be able to feel myself pressing the button down. There you go, you might have heard it. So that should work. Now let's just see whether we can hear a click when this goes on. Yes, see it clicked. Push it up. Ah, that's not going to work. There's there's flexibility in the damn back plate. Is it moving, or is that the box moving? Okay. That was the lid of the box clicking, not the box, not the back plate. So yes, okay. Because that's not screwed down, let me screw it down and I'll do the check again. Find the right screwdriver. Didn't prepare that very well. Okay, I'm going to screw that down. And now if I slip off the back, I should be able to feel, and you might be able to hear the click. Yes. Okay. That's definitely doing it. Okay. I'm happy with that because this is the first one I've done. I haven't made one of these before. So now to double check.
Before, I'm going to put the battery in. Blue light flashing. Stick in. Stick back in the plate. Make sure it's working. Yes, I get sensor 2 closed. Sensor 2 open.
Okay, she's not going to speak this time because I haven't mapped this code into the NodeRed flow. But when I push this on this way round, I should be able to see on the screen the other code come in. And when I release it, I see the code. So that's telling me the switch is the right height, which is perfect. So what I'm going to do now is get the soldering iron out and come back once I've soldered it, because this is not a video on how to solder. But the important thing is to find an easy way to get the height of the switch the correct way. There we go, it's all soldered up. I had to put my glasses on. Couldn't see. And I did leave the green wires in. Now hopefully they will come out. Yes, they're still loose. So because of our preparation, I'm hoping that's going to be the right height. So I'm feeling confident. I'm going to screw it in.
Right way around. And put battery in. Okay, so I'm looking at my codes. Let's show you the screen. So, going to press the button.
And you should see a code appear here after the data statement. So let's press the button and release. There you go. So I'm getting this new code. So this code only comes when the button's released. So I'm going to press it. Nothing should happen. and releasing. There you go. So if I do the magnet, you'll see a different code. You see it ends with an E and releasing ends in an A. Okay.
Sensor 2 open.
So all we got to do now is check to see whether
Sensor 2 closed.
my switch is in the right place. So
Looking at under there. There's no need to do that screw up. Oh, you can't see me. There's
no need to do this screw up tight because you'll strip the thread. So now when I'm looking down here, you can just see the button is just proud. So it's just here, just there. So when I slide the back cover on the right way, that's the cover on. And I'm going to take the cover off and I should see a code. Perfect, working. So that's how to add an anti-tamper switch into this type of magnetic door sensor. So I've got other plans for these. I've got to order some more because you can make these do other things. And if you've got skills with the soldering iron and a bit of wire and a few probes, you can make cheap sensors. So I hope you found it interesting. That's Andy signing out. I'm feeling happy that this has worked out, and we've now got a third code out of a sensor. Now you can buy sensors with these already in, but looking through places like AliExpress and GearBest, etc., the people are buying these and they are listed as anti-tamper, but some people say, well, I've got half a batch of only 2 codes and some with 3 codes where the switch is installed. But we now know that you can solder your own switch in, and if you need the tamper codes, well, it gives you a tamper code. So obviously in your automations you can have the anti-tamper code say a different type of alarm. Now we've got what I've got. Said the word. I'll blank that out. Now that we have her working, that you could make it ring a different alarm sound to advise you or make her say something different to say that it's anti-tamper rather than the door is open. Because obviously I've got one of these on the front door just because I'm playing with it, and it announces different messages when the wife gets home. So between, let's say, 6 o'clock in the evening and 8 o'clock, it's programmed to say certain messages. Then outside those times, it will just say front door open, front door closed. Now that's in a NodeRed flow, and I will cover that in another video. If you're interested, just let me know and I'll do it. But I'm still learning NodeRed and still trying to learn the delay timers. Now I'm not sure that when if we do this.
Sensor 2 closed.
Okay, if you do it too quickly, as I did there, the message doesn't always get through, and that's what I'm doing. I'm learning a delay function, because if you might not be able to see the light, so let me it's switched on.
Sensor 2 closed. Sensor 2 open.
So lights on, lights off, lights on,
Sensor
lights off.
2 closed. Sensor 2 open.
And she'll get both messages. But if you light on, take it away, in NodeRed,
Sensor 2 open.
see, it didn't get the close message. So the delay function that I'm looking at is trying to make sure, or to queue the messages. So if the first message hasn't been announced, the second one will queue, because I'll do it again. So I'm going to do it in, this should work. light off,
Sensor 2 closed.
open, light
Sensor
off.
2 open.
Now if I do it quickly, so light on and take it away, it's going to miss the first message.
Sensor 2 open.
So you didn't get the sensor 2 closed. So that's what I'm trying to learn in NodeRed. So I've been on the NodeRed forum and people have guided me in the right direction, and I thought I had set it up right. So I just need to check my flow to make sure I put the delay in the 3 different nodes that I have to set the delay. I think what I've done is I've set the delay in one which I was testing and not added it into the other 2. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. Please do leave a comment down below if it is useful. And as soon as I've got some more of these sensors, I could even use this one, I suppose, to play with. I'll show you what I've got in mind with it. Anyway, that's Andy saying good afternoon.